Okay, I am 2 minutes late today. It's 11:32 on Tuesday, January 29th. And it took me a minute to get organized here, but we're off and running. Today, I want to talk about a couple of use cases for the most recent feature additions to the Ontraport platform. And just so that we have this in our training situation. You guys know about units here, by the way, Ontraport user community. Go over here and check out, where is it? Units. All these videos are here, Training Tuesdays, Ontraport pages, bunch of really useful stuff. And then I've started posting just like useful threads. These are just normal threads that we are that end up in our group, and they seem like there's some good information shared. So I've been tagging those here as well. So this is some worthwhile stuff. Check this stuff out. It's also where it's where we put the recordings of all these trainings that we're doing. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's talk about get variables and stuff like that. So what is it? There's two features that we released recently, and we didn't release them right at the same time because one was ready before the other, but they're really meant to go together in a lot of ways. They're going to get used together. And the first is, I think we're calling it automatic get variable. I don't know what we're calling it. It's automatic URL variable grabbing and merging. And let's just get a simple little page here. Something simple. How about this one? I don't know what this is. Milulu. All right. All right. Look who it is. So no, let's just we're gonna watch this URL vars test, and we're gonna publish this sucker on URL vars. Respond, save and publish. Okay, boom. So there's the page, just like that. Now, you guys know hopefully about personal URLs. You can send somebody to a personal URL, and if you do that, if you send them to a landing page using the landing page selector from an email, say, it'll end up being a personal URL typically. And that allows you to do some cool things like merge their information into the content here, right? Take a look at this headline. Okay, so that's something that you can do if you're using if you're using personal URLs. There's some drawbacks to personal URLs, however. The first is that if just the way that the system works, it takes their first name and their last name and it mashes it together and it puts it into a subdomain, and it's a little technical, not worth getting into. But basically, if you don't have the name of the person in the contact record, the thing doesn't work. So for those of you who capture just email address, or somebody for whatever reason didn't fill out their first name, the personal URL is just not going to work, and so that's no good. The other thing about personal URLs is that they don't work on custom objects. It's a context only kind of thing, so it's important to appreciate that. So this system was not designed to take the place of personal URLs, but it can in many ways, and in fact, it's better than in some ways. So how it works is that instead of having to send somebody to a personal URL, you add some what we call URL variables to the end of the domain that the URL that you're sending somebody to. So what you would do in this case is you would there's the URL that you're sending them to. In fact, we can just do it this way: publish this, capture this guy, right? And let's just go well, let's just do right here. So this is what it looks like. And then what you do is you put a question mark at the end. And then what's after this is basically a variable name. So you could say first name. You can just make it up, whatever you want it to say. F name equals Landon. And then you use the and sign to separate them. And last name equals, okay, and email equals support@ontraport.com. Okay, so if I then were to put something like that into an email, oops, copy, and go to this page, you'll see that this is, these are all URL variables. They're variables that live in there. They're variables, in this case, I didn't use them as variables, but what you would do, just to make sure this is clear, is that you would, in an email, so you're creating a message, and let's just grab any message here. What you would do is you would say, just click the link below, okay? And so you would go to the link, and you would click the URL, and you would paste in this domain name, right? But instead of first name, you actually put the merge field in that we use for first name, and last name, and email. Good. And then you would insert that link. And what would happen when you send that out, of course, is that the system will merge the particular contact's information in there. And if they had sent it to me, it would have come out looking like this, right? F name equals Landon, L name equals Ray, email equals support@ontraport.com, and so then we have these variables in the actual URL. So now let's go back and show you what we can do with this. You can, of course, do the same thing in a text message. You can kind of do it anywhere you want. So here's what we go now and do with this, is that we can actually take and just type in F name. Oops, if I could just type F name, comma, or actually, since we have them both, we'll do L name, comma. And then we save that. And I use those because those F name and L name are the variables that we put in the URL back in that email. Let's save that. And now, watch this. If I refresh this page with all those URL variables in there, boom, Landon Ray. So it's populated, it's grabbed the information, Landon and Ray, and merged it into the page on there. So relatively simple, right? And this doesn't do anything with the data that's in Ontraport. It doesn't write the data to their Ontraport record. It just literally grabs that information from the URL and pushes it down and merges it onto the page. So that's pretty cool because you can personalize the page a little bit, but there's a lot more that you can do than simply personalizing the page. So let's take a look at some examples. So first of all, what the heck is going on with this field? This is the first name field and then an email field. Okay, watch this. One of the things you could do here, if you wanted to, is go down to advanced and pre-fill this field's value. And so I could actually just type in the pre-fill, which is F name. And then I can type this one in, go down here and go advanced, pre-fill, email. Okay. And refresh here. And look at this, it's actually pre-filled this the fields out for me. So I don't even need to fill those suckers out. I can just click submit and it'll submit the form. That's worthwhile to do if you've got that data. If you're asking contacts that are already in your database for their, to fill out another form for some reason, for whatever reason it is, whether it's an order form whether it's to sign up for some promotion, whatever it might be. It's a good idea to provide their email address that they've already given you in the field, because otherwise, everybody has a bunch of different email addresses, and they're likely to, maybe use a different one, and then you've lost a lot of tracking and stuff like that. You end up with 2 contact records for the same contact, and yada yada. So just supplying them with the email that you've already given them, that they've already given you rather. It's a good practice, because now people, most people aren't going to delete that and give you a different email. So you're just going to click get started. Now you can take it even another step forward. Let's pretend, for example, that this were a feedback form. And instead of, asking people to, whatever this page is asking them to do, we want to just get some feedback about, maybe the products that they purchased recently. So instead of first name, because we already know their first name, we're going to add a notes field here. Okay. And notice that it copied that, so we want to remove that because it just copied that field. Now, this is where the second feature that we released recently comes into play. You can put this email address here and then ask them for a note, and you want to type this here, placeholder, and say, let's get rid of this one. Say, let us know what you think. Okay, this is not working because the style is I'm sure it's because there it is right there. It's just it's too light to see it. We gotta get in here and change the pre-fill colors. I'm not gonna do that right now. All right, let's just oh, I'm here now. Text color, label, text area, placeholder. Let's just, okay, there we go. So done. So now we have this thing that says, let us know what you think. Of course, when they click on that, it'll go away and they'll be able to type. Now you can ask them for their email again, but in this case, you really don't want them to type in the wrong email address, because then you'll have feedback from somebody that you don't even know, right? It won't necessarily match up with the original buyer. It could be hard to tell. So the way to, it's one thing to sort of pre-fill that field, but another thing that you can do is actually take it off of there altogether. I'm just going to remove it. And now, how much nicer is this? Let us know what you think of the product you just bought. Well, that's really cool, but we do need that email address on there so that we can merge this response in with the correct contact record. And the way you do that is with this other new feature, which is called hidden fields. And so here's where you find that. Let me just talk you through this. You go to the submit button, and then you go down here to the form settings. You click form settings, and then you go down to the bottom of form settings, and it says add the fields you'd like submitted with the form but not to display on the form. Okay, so I'm going to put email on this thing. Now, it doesn't make sense to just have the form submit a blank value, so you're pretty much always going to want to put something in this merge field, and in this case we're going to take the URL variable that we put up in the page. Remember, that's right here, email. I'm actually not sure if these are case sensitive, but we'll get it right. Email, and we'll merge that in, but it's going to be hidden. It's not going to show up on the form. So now when we save this, and then we refresh this, now what we have is a very simple form that says, well, I think it's awesome. And then you click submit, and secretly hidden here, it's going to submit the email address that I already have on file. That is super useful for a number of reasons. The main one being that we don't need to ask for information that we already have. Another one being that this whole system works on secure pages. It works on order forms. It works for custom objects. A lot of benefits to using this system to make smoother experiences, more personalized and smoother experiences for your users. So that is pretty cool. I'm going to submit this, and it's going to submit, and it's going to submit the email with it, and everything's going to be cool. Now, what if, as somebody asked, in my business, I sell 3 different products, and I want to get feedback about the product, and I want to let somebody on my team, customer service, or myself, know. I want to notify myself every time somebody fills out this form, and I want to know what they said, but I also want to know what product they're talking about. Well, there's different ways you could do it. You could, create a product feedback form, a page rather, a product feedback page for each product, and then send people to different pages to give feedback about each product. That's something that you could do, but check this idea out. This is what we talked about in the thread earlier this week. I just want to build it right out so you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Okay, and in that, now, trigger here is purchase a product, and they purchase 42 cats. Cool. And then, let's just say we have our, welcome, we have our onboarding sequence, a bunch of stuff's happening here. And then after a little bit of time, we wait a little while, and then we send an email or maybe an SMS message out that says, let's just for ease of well, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna end this. So look at the email. We send an email, and it's going to be email is going to be let's see, feedback request 42 cats. Okay, and I'm going to save and that as a draft and be done. Okay, so it's going to ask for 42 cats, and we'll go and edit that email in a minute. So so that's one way to the way to set up a little system for new purchasers to send an email out after a while to get some feedback. Now I can take this, I can grab the little grabby bar right here, and well, that was weird, and I can hover it over the add a trigger. And then it's going to ask me, what I want to copy only this item, this trigger, or everything. I'm going to copy everything, and then I'm just going to go in here and change the product. So instead of 42 cats, I'm going to purchase some amazingness, and then instead of this feedback request, amazingness, M-A-Z-N-G, and amazingness. Say that as a draft and done. Okay, so that's my campaign. And I'm just going to leave this here. I'm going to open a new tab so we can just kind of get back to that real quick. Okay, so that's my campaign. Now I'm going to go to the emails that I just created, which are in the messages. Show you what I'm doing here. Feedback, 42 cats. Create an Ontramail. And I'll just pick, I don't know. What do I pick? Maybe I'll just pick the drop. Okay, and I'll say, did you love 42 cats? Okay, and then I take this button here, I edit it, and I say, tell us what you think. The URL. Okay, check this out. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to grab this whole thing, enter the URL. So I got to make sure I put the variables in here, last name and first name and email. And now, I'm going to add one more URL variable on the end here. I'm going to go and prod equals 42 cats. Okay, so that's going to be the same every time in this case because that's the product we're asking for feedback for. Got that? Insert the link, save the email. It's not going to let me. It's going to want me to set the settings probably. Maybe it's done. Done. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So then I would go back through and do the same thing with my other emails, amazingness, and I would, instead of saying prod equals 42 cats, I'd say prod equals amazingness, okay? And then back to our page where we're asking for this information. What do? Well, I just add another hidden field on this form. So I go to the button, I click form settings, I go down here, I add another hidden field. I didn't create the field yet. So I'd want to have created a field called product. In this case, I'm just going to grab something else. So this, imagine this was a field, custom field called product purchased or product feedback, something like that. And you know, I want to make sure that I'm getting something that is a text field. There we go. And then I'm just going to insert prod there. Okay, and so what it's going to do is it's going to take that URL, it's going to remember, it's going to come through and it's going to say and prod equals 42 cats. Okay. Now watch what happens. I'm going to save this, save the page, and then I'm going to hit return here. Now I've got this thing. Let us know what you think. I think it's awesome. And I can submit that. And go back to my contacts here and see what's happened. In this case, it's a new record because I didn't actually have the support thing in here. And there it is, long text, 42 cats is in my field. And so then what do? Of course, in our campaign, we go back to this campaign and we can delete this and we can add a goal here. The goal is the form is filled out, or we can just say whatever it might be. Maybe we use this long text is updated, whatever. Field is updated, say long text. Okay. So now what happens? We sent out this request, the feedback request. Now we're just going to wait until they fill it out. We'll know that it's filled out when long test is updated. You could also trigger it on the form, fill out whatever you want. And then as soon as that happens, what do? You notify somebody. So you can notify yourself. Let's see, you can search here, notify somebody with an email or an SMS. Let's do it with an email in this case. And then that is going to be the end of it. And so what do I do on this email? I say notify. Maybe I want to notify myself with this new message called product feedback. And we'll just save and edit it now this time. See what this looks like. We'll go Ontramail. You don't even need to do an Ontramail, honestly. But let's just, we're here now. Because it's just a notification to myself. So I could have just done an HTML email, but we'll just do it like this. Find a little text. And we'll say customer feedback on, and then what do we call that field? Long text, I guess was the name of that field. It would be the product, right? So that's going to say customer feedback on 42 cats. And then here we just delete this, merge in what we call newest note, and boom, we'll probably remove that button or whatever, and that's the end of the whole thing. Oops, what just happened there? I didn't click save. Newest note, save. There we go. And I didn't click save on the other one either. Come on. Feedback on, um, you know, that would say like product feedback or something like that. Save, done. And let me just do this one, get rid of this button by turning that off like that. Save, done. And that's the email. That's all I need, right? So it's going to say feedback on 42 cats, and then it's going to, oh, I didn't say who this is from. I probably want to do that, right? So I can edit this, and I can say from first name. I happen to know these variables, but you can just grab them right here. First name, space, last name, and you can even put their phone number if you want to be able to give them a call. You know, you can search these guys right here. Office phone, good. Phone still, right? Save, done. All right, there we have that situation. Okay, cool. So hopefully you're understanding what I'm kind of putting together here. And I'll just, so it's going to be, okay, I'm going to ditch this, don't care about it. So now we have created a single page for feedback that is, that, you know, where all these different emails send, you know, feedback requests for different products, and the product name is merged into the hidden field on this page. So that's pretty cool. What other uses can I think of right this second for this? Well, let's see. We had a request a while back from one of our longtime clients for this feature, and the reason he wanted it is because he had an affiliate program. So he had partners that were sending traffic to his site, and so he used the affiliate functionality in Ontraport to manage all that. But after the leads came in, he had a sales team that also called those leads up and you know, closed those leads. So he had to also track you know, which one of his sales reps was closing deals. And so what he wanted to be able, because he was paying commissions and stuff like that, and so he basically created, wanted to create, now he can create kind of a simple little secondary affiliate tracking program by saying, look, go to you know, send your traffic to ontraport.com or whatever. I don't want to confuse you. My site .com question mark rep equals John, right? Or Landon. And so each rep could create a little URL like this, and you know, say, you know, when they're talking to a prospect, say, hey, I'll send you an email. Just click the link and sign up. And when they click this link that says rep equals Landon, that populates a hidden field and records who the rep was, the sales rep that you know, closed the final sale for tracking purposes. So that's another use. Another thing that our team will most certainly be doing is adding to our UTM variable program. So we do a lot of marketing, and of course we use UTMs in every link that we post, whether it's on social media or on you know, Google AdWords, or you know, anywhere where we're posting links back to Ontraport. We use the UTM variables, and those variables are good. The system is great. The variables are things like campaign and media and content and source, stuff like that. But we at Ontraport actually have a, I think there's 5 UTM variables, but we actually have a 6th thing that we want to track. So, and for us, we call it, well, internally we call it a strategy. So we have sort of, or you know, you might call them programs. And so we have kind of like 5 different programs that we run that that we use to drive business back to Ontraport. And you know, for example, referral program is one thing. And the referral program encompasses a number of different things, right? It encompasses our certified consultants, encompasses our affiliate program, stuff like that, right? You know, advertising is another program, and or actually we've broken advertising up into two things. We have one that is, we consider content marketing to be our program, and we call it direct to Ontraport. So we're not content marketing, we're just driving traffic direct to the sign up, saying, hey, click here to sign up. Those are two different programs. And we want to, but in each one of those programs, there is a bunch of, there's campaigns and there's ads and there's media and there's all those things. So the UTM variables are sort of used up already. And so the way we've been managing this actually is at the end of the month, somebody goes through and says, okay, well, all these campaigns are actually for the program, Ontraport Direct, or they're actually for the program content marketing or whatever. And the reason we want to track that is because we report on the performance of each of those 5 programs at like the executive level. Of course, our marketing team wants to know the nitty gritty, like did this ad perform, or did that ad perform, or did this segment, did this target work better than that target? And so our marketing team is all into the details. But from a high level, I can't take that much information when I look at the reports at the end of the month. So what I want to see is how did our content marketing program do this month? And so we report on that at the program level or the strategy level. And so this is going to save us from all that work at the end of the month of kind of like adding, figuring out where all the referred customers came from and adding the program field. So now we'll just add a new URL variable called program and put it on the link of everywhere we advertise, and we'll capture it in a hidden field on our order forms, and so that'll be automatically populated. So super useful, and I'm sure that you guys will come up with all sorts of different ways to use these features. They're very powerful. So I'm curious to see what you guys do with them. Let me know if you have any questions about these features in the thread below, and we'll talk about it. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Talk soon.